Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit more about Laureles, Laureles Estadio to be more specific, and just a little bit more information about Medellin in general. Okay, today we're going to walk Boulevard Carrera Setenta, also known as Setenta. You'll hear people who have visited this area. They just call it Setenta. This is Laureles or Laureles Estadio. It's a combination of, I guess, both, I guess, comunas. So as you're seeing, it's flat. It's not like Poblado, where you have to climb mountains and hills to get in and out, where you have to take an Uber just to get out. But this is flat. This is where all the bars and you see Mondongos on the left. A lot of the nightclubs and bars. I mean, this place is live all night long. You'll see. So because it is flat, it gets a little hotter than it does in the mountains or on the side of the mountains. Not only is it called Laureles, but it's also called Laureles Estadio. You'll see on the north-hand side, Estadio is called Estadio because that's where the stadium is. And that's on the north border of Laureles. The stadium is called, and I hope I get this correctly, Estadio Atanasio Herado. So this is where the Atlético Nacional plays, the national team. This is also where the metro stops. So this stop is named Estadio, of course, because it's where the stadium is. Metro station is the third station on the orange line from San Antonio. And San Antonio is El Centro, downtown. So regarding the metro train, the orange line is what runs east to west or west to east. From east to west, it's starting again at San Antonio, again it's El Centro, then on to Cisneros, Suramericana, Estadio, Floresta, which is not a bad neighborhood too. Floresta is even more residential. You get that more. I think you get more of a paisa feeling in Floresta. Then the next train station is Santa Lucia and ending at San Javier. So by the way, San Javier is the stop that's nearest to Comuna 13. So if you're going to be visiting Comuna 13 and you want to go by yourself or with your friends, I'd advise you go with your friends. Then this is the closest station you're going to get if you're using public transportation. So two of the main three happening strips I'd say are in this area are in Laureles, and that is Setenta, which we're walking right now, and Calle 33 on the south. Also, Nutibara, I guess it is, Nutidara, Nutibara, is also good for nightlife too, in restaurants. It's also known as Transversal 39B, or 39B. And it runs diagonal through Laureles. So if you're looking at a map, it's the one that's running diagonal from northwest to southeast. So just regarding the barrio itself is bordered more or less to the north by San Juan, which is a major transportation thoroughfare, of course. It's also called 44 or 44th, and that's on the north next to the metro station. On the south, Laureles is bordered by 33rd or 33. On the other side of that is where Belén is. And 33 has a nightlife of its own too. And it's another happening spot. I think, for me anyway, it's a lot of younger cats out that way. And then to the west, Carrera 80. It's actually 81, but it's known simply as 80 to the west. And then Carrera 70 right here to the east. So that's the borders of Laureles or Laureles Estadio. But I'd say 70 is the main one, since you can arrive on the metro station at the Estadio metro station and then walk your way in. But two things to keep in mind about Medellin roads also are calles. You hear calles run east to west. and Carreras run north to south. So this Setenta is running north to south, or south to north. And also, calles begin at number one, and it starts in the south and increases numerically as it heads to the north. While Carreras begin to the east and then increase in numerical value as they head west. And Laureles is mostly residential community, by the way. Um, you won't see as many hotels and congested roads as in Poblado, or congested roads with cars and people. Though you can find many nice boutique hotels, like one I stayed at, I forget the name of it, they're intertwined in the neighborhoods. Though you won't even notice them until you walk right next to it. And if you're driving, you go pretty quick, you'll miss most of them because they're like embedded in the neighborhoods. So Laureles Estadio is a bit smaller than El Poblado, has a population of about 121,000, and the Comuna, or series of neighborhoods of Laureles, are located north of the Comuna of Medellin. And a quick FYI, Medellin should also be checked out also as potential options for long-term stays. For short-term stays, being in more of a happening area makes more sense due to transportation ability or availability and the proximity to things to do. But a walk through Laureles will show tree-lined tropical streets, as I did in my last video. I love it. Mostly residential buildings, which include single, double, or three-story habitations or buildings, and numerous apartment buildings, as you can see. It gives a real feel. It reminds me of an old Upper Manhattan. The high-rise buildings, doormen. Some do have doormen. But one of the biggest features, or I think best feature of this area, is it's quiet, mostly noise-free during the day and early mornings, only to rise to a mild traffic and sounds of people chatting while dog walking. But for any digital nomad as myself, this is light. If you're lucky enough to get one of these new apartments in this area, you'll benefit from sitting on your balcony and watching and listening to peaceful daytime sounds. I have a couple of friends that have apartments over there, man, and from the patio, I love it. And another thing, I'm told that most families keep their kids inside, so they rarely go outside unattended. Last time my girlfriend came to visit, she was asking, where are the children? At that point, I was wondering as well, where the heck are the kids? And again, after inquiring, people told us that they keep their kids inside most of the time. I guess they don't want to bother, other people that are outside or have, kids running around. So they keep them inside. It's kind of weird, but, it's a benefit. So let's talk estratos, or should I say the government stratum system. Medellin is not only broken up into comunas, but also something called estratos. Now, this is my understanding. Estratos is simply a way of categorizing the city by its financial means, meaning the property value and cost of public services. The stratums run from 1 to 6. 1 is the lowest and 6 is the highest. So 1 would be lowest class, 2 would be low middle class, 3 would be middle class, 4 would be upper middle class, 5 would be upper class, and 6 the highest, which we consider wealthy. The thought is that those who live in higher stratas pay for more of the services, pay more for the services, such as electricity, water, and gas, than people that live in lower stratas. With this said, those that live in a lower stratum, such as a 1, may pay half what someone who lives in the highest stratum, such as 6, pays. This is the government's way of equity. Although you can find a place right across the street, because these neighborhoods are diverse, where you're paying much less than somebody who just lives right across the street from you. But regarding rent, according to MedellinGuru.com, the average price for a furnished 1 or 2-bedroom apartment in the Laureles Estadio area is between $795 and $1167 US. And right next door in Medellin is between $534 on the low end for a 1 to 2 bedroom again, $534 to $1,020. And keep in mind that these are furnished apartments we're talking about. I'm sure many of the apartments are much lower if they're unfurnished, but make sure you take a native paisa with you so you don't get gringo pricing. Gringo pricing is much higher pricing for the same thing since you're not from here. And gringo pricing is real and it is here. I believe the best way to find an apartment is just to walk around though. Look at signs that say for rent or Setenta or Arrienda. They're everywhere. You just need to zoom in with your phone sometimes and print a pic, and then you can zoom in, using your fingers. Some of the signs may be on the 20th floor. I've seen it on the 30th floor. Well, you can't even see that. And it has a phone number up there too. But up to like 10, 15, you should be straight. Um, Sometimes you may need a fiador. A fiador is pretty much a local thing, a local that'll co-sign for you. So keep this in mind. There are services that can assist you with this though. For me, Airbnb is the best choice because I didn't want any extra bills and have to purchase furniture, stove, refrigerator, more because they don't come with anything. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed.
Please comment and share if you liked the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.